I'm going to just do 4 examples where I am solving for x given a quadratic. Remember, our first step is to set this equal to 0. Our second step is to then factor completely, and then our third step is to set those factors equal to 0 and solve. Because I don't want to have this negative x squared here, I'm going to go ahead and move my negative x squared and my negative 2x to the other side. When I put this x squared over here, there's nothing to add it to, but the 2x I can keep like terms together. So essentially I end up with nothing over here, and I have 7x plus x squared. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite that as x squared plus 7x equals 0. That's the same thing. I now need to factor. My first question I should ask myself is if I have a greatest common factor. And if I look at both terms, they both have an x that can be taken out. When I take an x out of x squared, I'm left with x. And when I take an x out of 7x, I'm left with x plus 7. This is now completely factored, so I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. So x is a factor, and x plus 7 is a factor. So x equals 0, and x plus 7 equals 0 gives me negative 7. So my solutions are 0 and negative 7. And number 2, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to move the 5x over to the other side. There's nowhere to put that 5x or combine it with anything, so I'm just going to write it off to the side. And I'm going to add 10. I'm going to keep that 10 lined up with that negative 14. So I end up with 6x squared plus 5x, and then minus 4 equals 0. There is no greatest common factor. There is no x involved with all 3 terms, and there is no number that you can take out evenly from all. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my binomial. My options for 6x squared are 6x and x, or 2x and 3x. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 3x and 2x. For 4, I have 1 and 4, or 2 and 2. Now I know 2 and 2 won't work, because if I put a 2 in here and I put a 2 here, I'll have a 2 here that will come out. It means I have a GCF. So I'm going to try 4 and 1 and see what happens. Now 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 1 is 4. So if I look at that, can I make that a negative 4 but a positive 5x? That means one of these needs to be negative and one of them needs to be positive. If I make that negative 3 and a positive 8, that will give me positive 5. So therefore, that negative 3x came from 3x times 1, so I need that to be negative 1, and this one to be positive. So I'm going to go ahead and then set each factor equal to 0. So I have 3x plus 4 equals 0, and 2x minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to subtract the 4. I get negative 4, and then I'm going to divide by 3. So one of my answers is negative 4/3. On my other one, I'm going to add 1, and then divide by 2, and my other answer is 1/2. On number 3, I'm going to go ahead and set it equal to 0 to start. That would be 3x squared minus 49 equals 0. There is no GCF. There's not an x in both of them. I can't take out a 2, a 6, a 7 from both of them. So I'm going to have 2 binomials. Now remember, this is similar to 36x squared plus 0x minus 49. So my goal is to get that 0x. So if we remember, that means the same numbers are going to have to be in each parentheses. So it has to be 6x and 6x, and it has to be 7 and 7. And one of them has to be subtraction, and one of them has to be addition. I'm then going to set each term equal to 0. 6x minus 7 equals 0. If I add that 7, I get 7, and if I divide by 6, I get 7/6. And the other one is going to give me the same thing, but the negative of that answer. When I divide, I get negative 7/6. And remember, this could be written as plus or minus 7/6 if you'd like. This last Last one, I'm going to move this 6x over, so it becomes a positive 6x. I need to ask myself if I have a greatest common factor. They don't all have an x, but they do all are divisible by 3. So I'm going to divide them all by 3. Okay, and then I'm going to try and factor what's inside there. I know I need an x and an x, and 15 is 5 and 3 or 1 and 15. So I'm going to go ahead and try 5 and 3. When I multiply that out, I get 3x, 5x, and 15. I know that one of them needs to be negative, and I want the negative 3 because that gives me then a positive 2. So I want the negative 3 and the positive 5. Then I need to set each factor equal to 0. When I set each factor equal to 0, I get 3 equal to 0, which doesn't make any sense because there's no variable. X plus 5 equal to 0, and x minus 3 equal to 0. Therefore, one answer is negative 5, and one answer is 3.